Hey everybody, it's Nekroz here. So today we're gonna bring you a pretty interesting deck list. It's still not 100% finished. There's still going to be some tweaks and changes coming up. So like I said, keep that in mind. If I do change anything, I will be posting it in the description down below. But so today's deck will bring in Nekroz. Nekroz is a really cool archetype that specializes in like shutting down your opponent's extra deck really well by either shuffling cards from the extra deck back into the extra deck or simply negating their effects altogether. It's pretty consistent and it's pretty good. We are using Nekroz with Dogmatika cards. So yeah, we'll go through the card by card, and I hope everybody enjoys. So first off, we got Diviner of the Herald. I'm gonna run 2 of these because I don't have a third one. If you have 3, I would advise running 3. They're really good starters. Arguably the best normal in the deck. So you could normal summon this card. You could send 1 fairy monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. And if you do, increase this level by that monster's level until the end of this turn. If this card is tributed, you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower fairy monster from your hand or deck. Now, what you're doing is really all you're doing is getting you summoning this card, and what you're doing is sending Herald of the Arc-like from your extra deck to the graveyard, and that would proc Herald's effect. Though it's sent to the graveyard when a monster or where is it? When this card is sent to the graveyard, you could add 1 ritual, monster, or spell card from your deck to your hand. So the idea is you summon Divine of the Herald, send Herald of the Arc-like to the graveyard, then you can get any of the combo pieces that you need to your hand right away. And Herald, that effect to get cards from your deck to your hand is not a once per turn. So if you could send multiple cards by Herald, you could easily get multiple copies in 1 turn. Really good card. Really good card. I would advise running 3 if you have them. Next, we got Strategist of the Nekroz. This card is pretty interesting. If you ritual summon exactly 1 Nekroz ritual monster with a card effect that requires use of a monster, this card would be used as the entire requirement. If this card is tributed by a card effect, you could add 1 warrior Nekroz ritual monster from your deck to your hand. You're not really using it for that effect, you're using it for that first effect where it fulfills the whole requirement. So like you could use Strategist to fulfill the requirements of Trishula, or Unicorn. So it's pretty decent, definitely worth running, at least 2. I wouldn't run just in case it gets banished and, or gets negated, stuff like that. But yeah, just run 2 of them, pretty good. Our hand traps as usual, we got 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs to stop search effects. You need 3 of them, definitely run 3. You could probably cut this out and run actually Forbidden Droplets if you have them. I only have 1. So like if you have 3 Forbidden Droplets, I would probably advise running 3 of those instead of the Ash Blossoms. But yet again, I only have 1 Forbidden Droplet at the moment. So yeah. Then for our non Nekroz virtual monsters, we got 3 Invocations. We got 2 Invocations Candles, and then we got 2 Invocations Talismandra. So basically, Talismandra, you could reveal 1 ritual monster in your hand, special summon both this card from your hand and 1 invocation monster from your deck, except itself. If this card was special summon the deck, you could add 1 ritual monster from your deck to your hand. So you can almost summon this card, special summon Candle. Candle, you could add 1 ritual spell from your deck to your hand, or this one special summoned, you could add 1 ritual monster. So either one, they're both live at all times. All you have to do is just reveal 1 ritual spell or 1 ritual monster. Makes them very easy to swarm in the field, get materials on the field so you can go into your ritual plays. Then for our Dogmatika cards, we got 1 Dogmatika Eccles and 1 Dogmatika Flirteries. The first one here can't be destroyed by battle with a monster special summon from the extra deck. You could use each of the following effects of Dogmatika Eccles the various once per turn. If a monster special summon from the extra deck is on the field, you could special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you could activate the effect, add 1 Dogmatika card from your deck to your hand, except for itself. So this card is basically always live. Your opponent almost every meta deck goes into the extra deck in some capacity, so this card can always special summon itself, and it's just a good extender for the rest of the plays to use as ritual cards or to help just continue shutting down your opponent's extra deck. Then we got 1 Dogmatika Flirteries. During your main phase, if a monster special summon extra deck is on the field, you could special summon this card from your hand. Then if you control another Dogmatika monster, you can negate the effect of 1 face-up monster on the field. When your Dogmatika monster declares an attack, You can make all dynamic monsters you control gain 500 attack. The net you're really using for that effect, you're using it for its quick effect, where you could just special summon this card from the field. It's just more cards on the field at all times. And if you just so happen to have the other Dogmatika, you can start negating stuff. Then we have one more one of here. We got one Archlord. It's not the best card. You could probably entirely cut this, but it's pretty neat. This card's pretty cool. You have exactly 4 fairy monsters in your graveyard. You could special summon this card from your hand. And you're going to have 4 fairies, you know, like you have 3 heralds, you have entirely, you're going to have more, you know, entities, stuff like that. So this card should be live quite often. Then if it was special summon this way, you could target one fairy monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. Neither player could special summon monsters. Yeah, using it for that effect right there, really, it's really easy to special summon. Then on top of that, you can make it so your opponent can't special summon monsters anymore. And yeah, can't really complain about that. So it should be live quite often. Then for our ritual cards, we got 2 Nekroz of Kalasis. I'm not going to try to pronounce that correctly. So basically, this card is pretty cool. You could discard this card, add 1 Nekroz spell trap card from your deck to your hand, and we have quite a bit of them. So we have Cycle, Kaleidoscope, and Mirror. So you can add any of those to your deck to your hands. Then you could target 1 face-up monster on the field that was special summoned from the extra deck. Until the end of this turn, that attack pack becomes 0, and the attack and the target's effect are negated. So you have this in your hand is a really cool little, you know, effect veiler. You could just discard it if, you know, target one of your opponent's monsters. Now its effects are negated and stuff like that. It's really good as a starter, where you can actually like negate your opponent's effects, and allows you to actually go into your plays with no fear. So I've run 2 of them for sure. Really nice to have. Then we got 3 Nekroz of Unicorn. This is your main card right here. You want 3 of these. I've said what this card does before, but I'll go over it again. You could discard this card to target 1 Nekroz card in your graveyard, accept itself, and add it to the hand. You can only use the effect of Nekroz Unicorn once per turn. Then negate the effects of all face-up monsters on the field that were special summoned from the extra deck. This is a really cool, yet again, floodgate. So you could shut them down for special summoning, and the cards in the field negate all their effects. Like I said, this deck really wants to punish decks that rely on the extra deck a lot. So like I said, it's a really good card. This is what you want to go into your turn 1 plays all the time. Then we got 3 Nekroz of the Bionic. So this card's pretty interesting. It's not the best, but yet again, it's not the worst. You definitely want 3 of them. You're usually using it for this first effect. You could discard this card, add 1 Nekroz monster from your deck to your hand. So if you open a Bionic, you could discard it to add Unicorn to your hand. Then if you have, you know, any of your other, you know, spells like Kaleidoscope, you could go right into Unicorn, stuff like that. Then you could target up to 2 face-up monsters on the field that were special summoned from the extra deck, and special summon them from your hand. I mean, from the special. You could target 2 face-up monsters on the field that were special summoned from the extra deck, shuffle them into the deck. So if you do ritual summon this card, which does come up, you know, you could easily just start bouncing your opponent's cards. So really good. Run 3 of them. Then we got 1 Implication Chalice Slime. You're not really using, you know, the ritual summoning this card, but you are using its effect. You can reveal this card to add. You can reveal this card, discard 1 card, and redo special summon 1 Invocation monster from your deck. Also, being in phase, you lose 2,500 life points if you did not special summon a ritual monster this turn. So you definitely want to be, you know, ritual summoning. Then you could send 1 Invocation monster from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard. Then target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use 1 Invocation Chalice line once per turn. Like I said, you're not really ritual summoning this card that often. You can, but it's will come up that often. You're using it to get more search. You know, like I said, this deck is really consistent for that one reason. So then we got 1 Right Knight of Dogmatika. You're not really using this card whatsoever. You could probably cut it from the deck altogether. I'm using it just for another Dogmatika name, so I could do more searches with the, Elysia, Thunderies, and Niveir's Servant. So I'm just using it as another name. But yeah, you're never gonna ritual summon this card, so it doesn't really come up that often. You could cut this if you like, by the way. That's perfectly fine. Or yeah, like I said, you could cut it and add something else if you want. So perfectly okay. Then we got 1 Nekroz of Trishula. This card's pretty cool. Doesn't really come up that often, but it is pretty neat. When a card or effect is activated that targets a Nekroz monster you control, you can discard this card and negate the activation of it. So it is a really cool negate. But if this card's ritual summoned, you can banish this active 3 cards that you pull on it. 1 from the hand, 1 from the field, and 1 from the graveyard. By the way, they have to have each of those places. If they don't have any on the field, you can't use that effect. So like, it's situational, but it does come up quite often. So it is a really good card to have. Then for our spells, we got 3 preparation rites. You could add 1 level 7 or lower ritual monster from your deck to your hand. Then you can add 1 ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. It's really good. Definitely worth to run 3 of them. We got 1 Nivdir Servant. It's only at 1, so run it if you have it. You can send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, then add 1 Dogmatika monster from or Fallen of Bees from your deck to the graveyard to your hand. That has attack less than or equal to that monster that was sent to the graveyard. So basically, you could use this card, send any of the cards from your extra deck to the graveyard to add Dogmatika or Flinders. And we have targets, like you could send Elder Interlease to the graveyard. Elder Interlease effect would kick in. We could target 1 card on the field and destroy it. And then on top of that, you can now, get to your plays easier. It's like I said, definitely run. If you have it, definitely use it. Can't complain. Then we got 3 Pot of Prosperity. You can banish 3 to 6 cards from your choice from your extra deck face down. Then you could activate the same number of cards, and you could add 1 of those cards to your hands, and then the rest get shuffled to the bottom of your deck. Really good. We're running a lot of cards we would never use. You're never going into Odd Entity. You're never going into DDD. You're never going to number 97. These are all just cards you can banish, so that's why you run them. Then for our Nekroz spells, we got 1 Nekroz Mirror. This card could only be used to ritual summon any Nekroz ritual monster, tribute monsters from your hand or field, and or banish Nekroz monsters from your graveyard. Then ritual summon 1 Nekroz monster from your hand whose total level is equal to that level. So basically, it's really good. If you have any card in the graveyard and you have like Trisha on your hands, you could just mirror and start banishing like a unicorn, 2 unicorns. The unicorn and Bionic, that X9 to get to a Trishula, So it's really good. Run 1 of them. It does come up quite often. Then we got 2 Kaleidoscopes. This is our main ritual card that you're going to want to use quite often. So basically, this card can use ritual summon any number of ritual Nekroz monsters. Tribute 1 monster from your hand or field, or send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. So basically, you want to use Kaleidoscope. You could ritual summon like Hair of Arclight to bring out Unicorn. Then Unicorns on the field, you get Herald of Arclight Search. You can get any monster or ritual spell from your hand. You can get Trishula, because you can negate cards that way. You get Bionic, yet again, because you could, Klaus, because you could negate cards. Something like that to make sure Unicorn stays up on the field longer. It's really good. Definitely run, 2 of them. Then we're only running 1 Nekroz Circle. You can bump this up to 2. I just cut from I cut one went down to 1. Like I said, you can change up the ratios if you like. Then this card, you could use the ritual summon a Nekroz virtual monster. 2 monsters from your hand or field. Then ritual summon 1 Nekroz virtual monster from your hand or graveyard. Then you can banish this card, add 1 Nekroz monster from your graveyard, add 1 Nekroz spell from your deck to your hand, and Kaleidoscope also has another floating effect where you can banish this card for a card to add 1 Nekroz monster from your graveyard, and add 1 Nekroz spell from your deck to your hand. So they do have really good floating effects that actually do come up quite often. Then we got 1 Invocation, I'm not going to try to pronounce that. This is the ritual card where you could actually use to summon out this guy here. So just so you know. You do 1 run of them. This card's in your graveyard. You could send 1 invocation card from your hand or face up the field to graveyard, except it's this card, and special summon 1 invocation monster from your deck. Using it for really, like I said, it doesn't come up that often, but it can. So just so you know, it is very searchable with in this deck. So definitely run it. Then we got 1 Dogmatika Punishment. Dogmatika Punishment, you can target 1 face monster your opponent controls, send 1 monster with equal or higher attack from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy that monster. We have a bunch of targets for that, 3,000 beaters. Just have a couple of high beaters in your thing that could actually, not be live for that. And that's all. Then we got 2 Called by the Graves. Yeah, get review opponent's hand traps. And that's it for the deck. It's really cool. I like it. I'm not good at it at all. Just an FYI. I'm not good at this deck. I'm still learning it. So I'll probably have a follow-up video of like some gameplay footage of like, you know, actual better combos and stuff like that. But we'll go into the one game I have, and I hope everybody enjoys. So yeah, I'll see you in the game. Alrighty, so you're going to see some really bad misplays from both ends, for myself and for my opponent. I'm not in platinum yet. I'm in gold 1, something like that, I remember, at the moment. So, you know, it's pretty good. So I end up going first. I end up normal summoning Divine of the Herald, sending Arclight effect will go on. I do get Kaleidoscope. At this point, I use Bionic's effect to get rid of Bionic. To get Unicorn, activate Kaleidoscope to send another Herald. At this point, I normal summon Unicorn. Arclight effect, I do get Trishula. And at this point in my turn, I'm feeling pretty confident. I got 2 negates, board wipe cycle. He activates Spring Pink Gate. He at this point, I'm facing Pendulums. He Pendulum summons for 2, and that's the point he gets Spring King Dark Rebellion. He does Pendulum Summon and gets out Starving Venom Dragon. I'm like, okay, so he's just gonna attack over both my monsters. I'm gonna eat a bunch of damage. This is not looking good. So it's my turn. I draw for turn, Preparation of Rites, activate Kaleidoscope. I do get another Kaleidoscope. Activate Preparation of Rites. I do get Child Slime. I activate Child Slime. Pitching Kaleidoscope. I get 2 cards. I get another Trishula. I Raigeki his board. Starving Venom would destroy mine, and I end my turn. I did take damage. I should have tried my best to actually ritual, but I had no cards to ritual, nothing on the field, and nothing in my extra deck. At this point, I'm not looking good. He just needs 3,000 attack, me 3,000 more. He activates Pot of Riches, suffering back 3 cards, and he'll draw 2. He does go into Popol, and he sets, he normal summons 1. He didn't kill me, but this is not looking good, like I said. At this point, I do get another Talisman. I activate Invocation, showing Trishula. Summon 2 monsters. Invocation effect kicks in. I do activate Mirror. At this point, I use Mirror's effect, banishing stuff on the field and in my graveyard to get out Trishula. Trishula effect will kick in. At this point, I can banish 3 cards. I banish the Scale, banish Fanning, and 1 from his hand, and I attack over. At this point, he has no cards on the field and no cards in his hand. He has to kill me 1 card. I'm feeling pretty confident. He normal summons Skullbat. Skullbat effect gets Odd Eyes. At this point, he reveals Odd Eyes. Takes 500, but he gets another card. He gets another Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. At this point, he scales that card. I'm feeling pretty confident. He attacks into my defense position monster, and it's my go. But Odd Eyes effect kicks in. He gets double Iris Magician. At this point, I'm like, I have to start doing something. I do get Ash Blossom. I attack over his Joker, go to main phase 2, and I end. I could have probably did something more there, but I'm, you know, trying my best to stay alive. He activates Duel's Alliance. At this point, I will Ash Blossom that to negate that effect. And at this point, my opponent has absolutely nothing he could do, and I'm feeling really confident. He has it in his turn. I draw for a turn. I do get Nekroz. I use this effect. At this point, I do get another cycle. And I go to battle, and he concedes. So that was just a weird game. A bunch of misplays across the board from everybody. Like I said, I'm not good at the deck whatsoever. And I'm still learning quite a bit here. But yeah, I will follow the video of some other games. But anyway, I hope everybody enjoys and have a good time.